welcome back. You're here because, well, staying current shouldn't mean sifting through endless articles, right?
Exactly. You want the key stuff, the important bits, explained clearly.
And that's what we aim for. Today, we're diving into something pretty huge and moving fast, AI in the world of movies.
And specifically, how the Academy Awards are starting to grapple with it, the new rules they've put out.
We've got some interesting sources lined up for you. There's Forbes, the BBC, giving us that industry news angle.
Yeah, and also a really sharp LinkedIn analysis that gets into some of the deeper questions, the filmmaker perspectives, too. Gives a nice range.
Right. So our mission, really, is to get a clear picture of how AI is actually being used in cinema now.
Uh-huh. And to figure out what these new Oscar rules really mean for filmmakers.
And, touch on the debates, the anxieties even, that this tech is kicking up.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into it.
So where to start? Well, maybe with the fact that AI isn't just theoretical anymore, it's actively being used in film production.
Yeah, the Forbes piece really lays this out. We're seeing actual projects.
Like Promise Studios, they put out a trailer for a sci-fi film, Ninja Punks.
Generated quite a bit of buzz, I saw that. And there's AI Studio Grail with Chimera Protocol.
Right, a teaser for that one. And Runway, they're known in the AI space, right? They've got an animated pilot out, Mars and Civ.
And it's not just startups. Asteria Studios is working with Natasha Lyonne, which is pretty major.
It really is. And what's striking is the speed this is all happening at and how accessible the tech is becoming.
That's a key point. Like this Lightrix model the Forbes article mentioned, a 13 billion parameter model. Sounds intense.
It does. And they're saying it's, 30 times faster than similar systems? That's a huge leap.
And open source for smaller companies, right? Making under $10 million a year.
Exactly. Open source, basically means the underlying code is available. So smaller studios, the ones without massive R&D budgets, can potentially use this tech without huge costs. It could really change things.
If it works well, I guess. And it sounds like it has some serious features.
Yeah, multi-scale rendering runs on normal graphics cards. Consumer GPUs, they call them.
Okay, so not needing supercomputers.
Right. Plus advanced controls for camera moves, character actions, even multi-shot editing. Seems quite sophisticated.
And they flagged the ethical training aspect too, using licensed stuff from Getty and Shutterstock. That feels important.
Very important, given the debates around AI training data. But there's definitely another side to this coin.
The quality question. The BBC article really brought that up.
It did. Concerns about, can AI really create something with emotional depth? Something that resonates.
That quote from Jonathan Kendrick at Rocket Flicks, comparing AI to a bad writer. Ouch.
Yeah, basically saying it's unlikely to hit that emotional weight needed for, say, an Oscar. It highlights that skepticism.
It's that human touch, isn't it? Can an algorithm genuinely capture that complex human experience?
That's the million-dollar question. And there's also that darker side the Forbes piece mentioned.
Ah, the inappropriate content targeting kids on YouTube, generated by AI.
Yeah, deeply disturbing. It shows how easily these tools can be misused, even if that wasn't the intention.
And the challenge for platforms like YouTube to police it all. They're taking action, terminating channels, but still.
It's a constant battle. So, yeah, lots happening on the creation side. How's the institution, the Academy, responding?
Okay, so the new rules. For the 98th Oscars, that's 2026. The headline is basically, using AI won't help you get nominated, but it won't hurt you either.
A neutral stance. Or trying to be neutral, perhaps.
Seems like it. They're really stressing that they'll be judging the human contribution, what they're calling creative authorship.
So it's about the tool, whether it's AI or CGI or, a paintbrush.
Exactly. It's about the human vision behind it. Did a human drive the creative decisions?
Which is interesting because AI is already in award-winning films, isn't it? The BBC pointed this out.
Right. Adrian Brody in The Brutalist, apparently AI helped fine-tune his Hungarian accent. And he won Best Actor.
And Emilia Perez used voice cloning for singing. That film won awards, too.
Even Dune, Part 2, huge movie, used AI for visual and audio tweaks.
So it's not hypothetical, it's here, which makes the Academy's position. Well, let's bring in that LinkedIn analysis.
Yeah, that post described the Academy's stance as hedging its bets. Not exactly a ringing endorsement of AI.
More like an acknowledgement, maybe. Recognizing it exists, but still holding up human creativity as the, quote, holy grail.
Like saying, okay, use the tools, but we're still looking for your genius.
That seems to be the message. And the LinkedIn post also raised a point about transparency, or the lack of it.
Ah, right. The Academy isn't making filmmakers disclose how much AI they used.
Yeah. And some see that as a missed opportunity, especially with all the worries about deepfakes and just
You
authenticity.
wonder if audiences should know, right? How much of what they're seeing was guided by algorithms versus human hands?
It feeds directly into those fears we saw surface during the Hollywood strikes last year.
Oh, absolutely. Actors, writers,
Yeah.
really worried about AI taking their jobs. The BBC had that Susan Sarandon quote.
About the misuse of her face, body, voice. Yeah, it's a profound concern for performers.
Those strikes did lead to some protections in the union contracts, didn't they?
Yes, safeguards requiring artist approval, fair pay when AI is involved in replicating them. Scarlett Johansson has been vocal about the risks too.
And it's not just performers. Animators also seem skeptical, according to the BBC.
Right. Many feel the current AI just can't match the quality, the artistry needed for top-tier animation, echoing that bad writer idea, but for visuals. Like, AI is a bad visual artist for now.
So lots of moving parts specifically around AI. Were there other rule changes from the Academy worth noting?
Just briefly, yeah. A new rule for voters. Members now have to actually watch all the nominated films in a category to vote in the final round.
Oh, interesting. How do they track that?
They have to report where and when they watched, and it's monitored through their members-only streaming platform, trying to make voting fairer, address concerns that people were skipping nominees.
Makes sense. Okay, so bringing this all together, AI in film, the Academy response. How does this fit into the bigger picture?
Well, the Forbes piece connects it to broader shifts in media, traditional players losing ground to TikTok, gaming.
Right, that whole Forbes series. Big tech owns Hollywood. Games dwarf movies. It paints a picture of major disruption.
Exactly. So AI is entering this already turbulent landscape. It's another disruptive force.
And that LinkedIn post really hit on fundamental question, didn't it? How might AI change what we even consider art or authorship?
Yeah, if an algorithm can create something compelling, what does that mean for human creativity? Big, big questions.
Okay, so let's try to crystallize the main takeaways for everyone listening.
Well, first, AI is definitely not just hype anymore. It's a practical tool being used more and more in filmmaking, from indies to blockbusters.
Second, the Oscars are adapting slowly, maybe cautiously. New rules acknowledge AI, but still really emphasize the human element.
And third, this is far from settled. There are major concerns, ethical debates, worries about jobs, questions about authenticity. The conversation is very much ongoing.
It really is. Which leaves us, and you, with something to think about, doesn't it?
Definitely. As AI gets more sophisticated, more accessible,
Yeah.
how will our ideas about art change? What makes something artistically valuable?
Yeah, what parts of human creativity, that emotion, that unique viewpoint will still stand out, maybe become even more important in a world where AI can generate so much?
That tension, between the tech and the human touch,
Yeah.
that's going to be fascinating to watch.